to professional circuit for 2017 and 2018. We just have 2 series remaining to crown our first ever PGL Open Bucharest champion, getting maximum points towards those TI points that they're chasing, of course, and top prize in the $300,000 prize fund. Both of our next 2 teams were invited to this tournament. They've both made it through to the semis. Only one can make the grand final, however. 2 other men that have been invited back to the panel, Merlini and Fogged. Good afternoon, gents.
Can we get some points too?
You can have points because you're in the semis. You made the semis, you get points.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
30 points, baby.
I wonder if we should do that for talent.
We had the discussion.
TI points for talent to get to TI.
There would be a lot of backstabbing involved. It would be pretty
I don't want to work with Fogged again.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind of like what it would be, wouldn't it?
That's exactly what
He's got
happened.
too many points. Throw him off. Get rid of him.
Don't invite him to these 3 majors so I can get TI.
Does that mean we have to do 1v1s before, though, in qualifiers? Because that would be hell, wouldn't it?
What do you do? Cast?
I don't know.
Cast battle.
1v1 Jakiro mid?
Draft prediction?
Draft prediction. Whoever gets the most guesses wins and gets points.
Unbeknown to you, Ben, we've been writing stuff down during this. No, I mean, it's a fun idea, but hopefully it won't happen.
Definitely not.
Let's move on to this semi-final, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting matchup between these 2 old orgs as they are, LGD and EG. Got plenty of history. They've played 33 times over the course of history. But, interestingly, and I know it doesn't really make much difference because different lineups and changes in meta and blah, blah, blah. But just for fun, EG have not won against LGD for almost 2 years. January 2016, the last time they won a series against LGD of any form. So, is there such a thing as bogey teams?
Definitely.
Definitely, but
Do you think
they've switched a lot, though.
Yeah, but that's the point, isn't it? That's why I said it. I don't think it makes much difference, but it is a bit fun because you look at sort of the old newbie EG thing and the Mineski thing, and what were you telling me about earlier? Ice with Samael in terms of when they've played, he'd never lost to him, and then he wins yesterday. So that's gone. I find these interesting. But are there such a thing as bogey teams?
I think the last time we were here was what, Faceless TNC?
Yep.
Too.
Yeah. It's another one, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
There used to be the EG complexity one all the time, right?
So what is it then if it's not lineup related?
Maybe some people just, especially when
style.
I would say like EG complexity. There's definitely style, but sometimes it's just like bad blood maybe between them. You're just like like when it was Swindle Melons versus PPD.
Did we not just invent that one though? Was that not us?
What? That's definitely not just us.
I don't think so.
Talking of evil geniuses, it's time to introduce you to the team that have made it through to the semi-finals. They were expected to get this far. It did look a little harder than it was, though. Let's meet all 5 men. Still retaining 3 of the original TI winners, of course, in this team, and plenty of experience in the other 2, that's for sure. Evil Geniuses are everything you would imagine a star-studded lineup to be, but, Ben, they haven't played as well as we know they can, and disappointingly from their point of view, perhaps, haven't played as well as they thought they would coming into this tournament.
They have played quite a few games. They played, what, 7 games, I believe? But their last one looked by far the best, and they've been shaping up kind of what is normal for EG, I would say. They get better as the tournament goes along. But I didn't expect them to struggle so much in day number 1.
Yeah, me either. When we first saw them playing versus Vici Thunder, we were like, Thunder's going to really struggle here, and then it was the exact opposite that. That was the longest game, probably the closest back-to-back game we've had at this tournament, that 82-minute one.
Is part of the issue for EG that we always have a lot of pressure on them? We always put a lot of pressure on them because the expectations are so high, or are they valid, do you think?
Maybe you look at the lineup and you're like, these is 5 star-studded players. You probably you have to put a lot of pressure on them to do well.
They've won TI.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not unnecessary expectations.
Is it a different world though? 18 months, well, not 18 months. What are we now? 14 months on from that.
Just
actually longer than that now.
Different.
Hang on, where are we? Blimey, we're in 2017. Yeah, a bit long. Yeah, almost 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Still some of the same players. I think Crit and Zai, or Crit is fairly similar. maybe not so much to AUI, I guess. And then we have what, PPD and Fear.
Very different.
Very different. So I mean, they still have Sumail in Universe. No big deal.
Yeah, they've got the big star-studded ones. As long as they get them on the proper heroes. We saw the difference between. I mean, not to say that Universe can't play heroes like Pugna and stuff, because we saw him playing Bane, which is totally different. But putting him on more comfortable heroes, we saw. Yeah, Batrider. We saw just the difference in the way the entire team plays when they have that kind of leader.
Okay, let's meet their opponents in this semi-final. Came through almost flawlessly from their group stage. It feels like we haven't seen them for a while, and that's because we haven't. This is LGD. There we go then, the lineup for LGD, also featuring a stand-in, QQQ, or 357 as he was formerly known when he was at eHome, and I think DK, I think before that, maybe? I can't remember. But playing with a stand-in surely should have meant, Fold, that they were under the pressure to not even get out of the groups, and here they are, actually, top of the group.
Yep, they're picking him. I mean, we did say that he's been playing like the easier kind of heroes to play. That just you don't have to do anything totally crazy. You just usually it's like the ult button. We've seen the silencer, the AA, a couple like these makes it a little bit easier, so the pressures alleviate on him. I love seeing this though. We see it's 357 Yao versus like Fear and Universe. It's like throwback to like 5 years ago. All these like old veteran players playing against each other.
Mentioned at the top of the show, like old school LGD versus EG. They've got some remnants left in here.
They definitely do.
They do. One of the other things, Ben, is they've had to shift things around a little bit because 357 is playing a pure 5, so Yao is now effectively playing a 4. So there is that element of change. How do you feel like they've adapted to that?
He used to play 4 anyways when he was with Xiao 8, so I don't think it's that big of a change for him. And he used to play offlane, so he's used to running around and doing stuff, making plays for his team. He never really played 1 and 2, to my knowledge. Wait, didn't he play mid at one point? Wasn't he?
I think he might have.
Player.
He was an Invoker player as well too.
So he's played them all. He's versatile. He's old school.
He can still do it. I also wanted to mention as well, as we head into draft number 1, do you want to take a guess? I'll give you like a 250 MMR window.
Oh, okay.
On what 357's current MMR is?
7,700.
Not bad. 8,029.
Oh, damn.
Not bad for a coach.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Not bad for a coach.
He still plays a lot of Dota.
He's no fucking mad.
He's no Sebastian. Sebastian's got 9K now.
Is he really?
Yeah, 9K coach.
He's being carried.
Probably. He just picks Beastmaster. Every game.
Beastmaster spammer.
Oh, okay.
Right then.
Jakiro, first 2.
Hello. That's not usual, is it?
No, EG have played Jakiro or Lich in every single one of their games thus far, so we will have to see a different position 5 from them, but...
That's them banning it, though, so they clearly didn't want either side. They get the... Okay, Veno is banned. I was like, oh my god, Veno's not banned.
And banned.
So, Night Stalker, Veno, Lich, what's left? Do they want
Shaker.
Yeah, Shaker was their most popular one.
Shaker's alright first pick, and see where else
IO's still there?
Mm-hmm.
Something that EG have been well known for.
Yeah, and they banned the Jakiro too. Jakiro is one of the better heroes versus IO relocate. We saw in that last series a couple times relocating into ice paths. Can be pretty devastating. Earth Spirit is another one that's been heavily contested amongst lots of these teams. LGD really likes it too.
That said, though, they've got quite a lot of 5s that they select from,
So they still go
and
for the
4s,
Spirit
which is including the Spirit breaking up.
They've had mixed results, but overall a little bit more positive. 66% win rate for EG on this one out of 9 of their games.
And the Conqueror is the other one that they seem to favour. The other teams don't seem to be favouring. Although it seems to have dropped off a little bit here.
Why Spirit Breaker, though, over the Shaker? Because the Spirit Breaker is way better for early game, but don't you want more team fight versus LGD? What do you think their line of reasoning is for going for SB?
I think maybe they're thinking that there's going to be like that Earth Spirit, right? And they want to match the Roam for the Spirit Breaker.
Okay. So Warden, first pick.
Well, there goes Wisp, second pick. I mean, I guess you could still do it, but...
Riskier now, isn't it?
Yeah, very risky. there are some downsides to first facing a Wisp. We've seen what Timbersaw, Wyvern, Jakiro, all very, very good versus that IO.
Mm-hmm. The first time LGD's picking the Wyvern? I haven't seen them play it
no,
yet, right?
They picked it.
Oh, they picked it last pick.
When it was FY chain feeding?
Yes.
I knew
How
that would
could
jog
you
your
forget?
memory.
That would ring my memory. Thanks, man. So they do go for their Spirit anyway on LGD.
Yep.
That was a bit expected. But they do have... I think EG was kind of preparing for that one, but the Wyvern, I don't know if they expected to be in the first two from LGD.
Yeah, means that 357 is going to have a bit more work to do this time.
We could see Omni again, too. I think Omni is pretty good versus the Wyvern or Spirit, too. Wyvern has been way more popular recently. But it's...
I like Batrider for EG. Oh, they actually still take the IO.
Wow.
Okay.
Surprising.
That's risky. I mean, maybe they're thinking that Wyvern isn't a 5.
Even so, it's
Still tough, but if
still
it's
tough.
in the offlane, then...
It also just depends on what partner you have with them, too. Like, the Drow lineups get crushed by Wyvern, but something that's a little bit less physical.
I think this is just they can match any type of like rotations that come out from the Earth Spirit. Either the Spirit Breaker shows up or the IO shows up, and they can just outnumber wherever LGD does try to make rotations.
But you don't have really great disable with your 4 and 5, though.
Yeah.
Right? So
It's true.
LGD have actually picked Storm twice, so Storm may be looking a little bit better for them. We've seen Ember coming out a lot from maybe. Like, these heroes are often not picked because of the disables from the 4 and 5 long duration silences, like our Spirit or Next Assassin even.
He's been playing a lot of Death Prophet recently as well.
I don't know if you... I think Death Prophet might get crushed in lane, even with a Wisp. I don't know. I don't really like the super long cooldowns versus the Wisp strat too. Wisp Spirit Breaker, they're not ulti reliant. Like, yeah, every time you think about Wisp, it's about relocate, but it's not really that much. So it's more about just a tether, heal, sustain.
Yep.
And if you're not prepared to fight at all times, you're going to get rolled.
So yeah, they banned the Puck, the hero that makes it really hard for Spirit Breaker to gank the mid lane. So, you know, we say it a lot, but we're probably going to be seeing like 3, 4 heroes, 5 heroes mid lane very early in this game. Pugna banned. That's the other pairing that EG was running a bit with the Spirit Breaker. Pretty good versus Winter Wyvern since you're just pure magic damage versus the Cold Embrace.
What has Wyvern been struggling against, though, that we've seen?
I think the hero's been doing pretty decent. I think it's just versus like these just magic damage lineups, and when you don't have enough catch. I think it's been like anti-mages and these hard-to-catch heroes.
You think we're going to see that coming out from EG, though? I don't really like.
I don't like it with AM with this, but okay. So the Batrider ban from LGD. That's Universe's most popular. It works really well with both Spirit Breaker and IO to set up for relocate ganks and just pressure lanes as well. I mean, do take out Bloodseeker. EG has horrible memories versus Bloodseeker, of course, versus Thunder.
So as LGD right now, how do you want to match the Wisp? What do you want to do versus him? Do you want to pick heroes that are good versus him in team fight? Do you want to pick heroes that are good at isolating him and killing him? Do you want to have really strong lanes so you don't get run over?
I think, like you said, the Ember is really strong, but okay, they go for, so it's going to be core Wyvern then, right? It's going to be the FY Wyvern more than likely. I was thinking like the Ember Spirit, it's hard to gank these mobile heroes that they can pick early on, because then it's good versus IO, because there's going to be lack of disable, and it's good versus Spirit Breaker through all stages of the game. Storm maybe not so much, because it just...
Slow.
It's very slow, yeah. And these two, like you said, not ulti reliant, they can punish. Enchantress, one of the better heroes versus IO.
Yeah, I don't really think they can match the Roam. You mentioned, okay,
Yeah.
they have the Spirit Breaker, so they can match the Roam with the ES, but with Enchantress on a table, your lane's gonna get wonky real fast.
Dude, it's gonna be 5 mid this game. Sumeo's not gonna be happy. So strong laners now. EG wants to pick up to be able to deal with this. I've seen some teams experimenting with like the Sven IO mid, especially Immortals. I've been running that one quite a bit. BKB carrier as well, but there's the Cold Embrace ready from Wyvern.
Yep, Martizi's top 2 picked in the patch so far are AM and Sven.
Oh.
But not Lifestealer. Although that is a throwback a little bit, isn't it?
Maybe they think it's an offlane edge.
Maybe. And you can just, eat through it with the Rage. And it's very good versus Air Spirit. And they've already got vehicles with like the Spirit Breaker. They've got relocate setups too.
But it's really poor versus Wyvern.
Yes.
I don't know. I think LGD would be far more likely to throw the Wyvern in the offlane at this point.
Yeah.
Although, that was the hero that he fed against, though.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, FY. They still ended up winning that game, though.
They did. He still had a lot of deaths early, though, but...
A lot.
So they reveal that lifesteal early, so we're going to be seeing LGD. I think they're probably going to pick... Not Terrorblade here, but I think Terrorblade's probably going to be the last pick for LGD, being one of the best heroes for his lifestealer and Ame's most comfort.
They could just pick it now.
You think they... Yeah, I guess they could just pick it now.
I mean, it's really good with the Wyvern, too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they leave it until 5th, it gets banned.
Yeah, I think it might. It would probably get banned. That's a good point. They could just grab Ame's hero here. So it's the CK. That is Ame's hero, but very, like, no way for EG to deal with the Phantasm at the moment with their current hero base. They have pretty much no team fight from EG.
No AoE.
No AoE, no team fight, yep.
Sometimes a little bit early, though, for the Chaos Knight pick. But I think it's a good position 1 versus position 1 matchup, too. Oh, Winter's so happy now.
Isn't he just?
He is so happy.
Huh.
So Universe's most played hero under this current patch.
It is.
Yeah.
Haven't seen a whole lot of Underlord.
No.
We only saw it once this tournament, right? By FY.
We used to see this combination a lot, the Underworld IO, and you are just unkillable. Like, your entire lineup just has tons of sustain and tons of mitigation.
That's really true, yeah. Going for that, like, you go for the mech, the pipe, with the double heal from IO.
We talked a lot about their preference for late game as well. This lineup.
Underlord also destroys Phantasm. You drop your Phantasm, you just get the Firestorm is % damage versus Illusion, so it's multiplied massively. Through all stages of the game, they just get melted extremely quickly. Also pretty annoying for Earth Spirit.
Is there any ways to itemize differently on Chaos Knight to prevent that?
I don't think so. Your Phantasm just dies, right?
Maybe you just get BKB early and then Phantasm later in the fight? No, I don't know. Seems dubious.
Yeah, it does. So Underlord, yeah, very good versus CK. LGD bans out the Lina, so...
Heavy AoE mid to deal with the CK illusions.
Yeah. What other Sumail heroes are left? He's been playing a lot of different ones. Yeah, his Queen of Pain. But
Nyx. Mirana. I mean, not AoE, but...
Mirana's been growing more and more popular. And they already have, like, the arrow setup, right? If the Wyvern cold embraces people, they can make it a lot easier for him. But I'm thinking something that can pair with the IO, because Lifestealer and IO isn't really, like, the greatest duo pairing because of the Rage interaction.
OD, maybe?
Bust out an old school Tiny.
They ban the OD, and they go for Ember themselves. So that's like that's the IO partner, and that's a better way to deal with the Phantasm illusions. And it's heavy magic damage burst versus Wyvern Cold Embrace.
It's a bit scary though, playing versus Wyvern ES as an Ember though.
That's their only form of lockdown though, right? It's only Earth Spirit at the moment. So Ember Spirit only has to worry about that one hero because I mean, sure they have CK stun, but CK stun is not reliable versus Slight nor Remnant. That's a lane matchup. Ursa versus Ember.
Oh damn,
very,
it's actually
very specific, isn't it?
Dude, it's so good versus all three of their cores.
Yeah, it is. Versus Lifestealer, Underlord, and Ember Spirit.
Is it good though, right now?
It's a space maker, right? He wants to be able to fight so the CK can get online later. But the hero has not been having too much popularity.
Okay. It's prediction time. Mr. Fogged.
They don't... Is the Underlord enough to deal with? I think the Underlord's enough to deal with it. And Ember IO...
Great pick at the time.
I do like EG's draft here this time. Yep. The IO Ember can be pretty good. I think Ursa's a bit weak. He's going to do well in the lane, but if the game goes later on, I like EG's chances.
Just let me remind you of the rules.
I'm not going to... He's already going to flame me, dude. He's just going to flame me.
It's not flaming.
I know.
I'm just pointing out that as a former EG player,
Thanks.
why else would you go for anyone else in a game? EG?
I like FY. I like maybe, but I'm going to go EG.
It's EG. Look, even production have already trolled you and put your decision up even before you've come out with it. Ben?
I'll also go with, actually, I'll go with LGD. I like
Cool.
the CK a lot. I don't really think they have that many solutions for him. Underlord seems not that great versus him.
Really? Okay. Not convinced.
LGD, I'm a fan right here.
All right.
Nice.
I'm a fanboy. Has locked it in and has gone the other way. So one for LGD, one for EG, as we've said. Storied organisations, storied players, and they're about to create a new chapter in that story with Game 1 of semi-final number 2.
That's right, a lot of history here and a lot of future ahead for the TI-8 season. It just begins for these two teams here at this tournament, both looking to be able to capture their first grand finals. LGD looking kind of spicy here. They pick up the Ursa, but boy, Blitz, is it good versus EG's lineup? Is it finally time for an Ursa game?
This might actually be the one game where it's an Ursa game.
That one game. What's wrong with Ursa? Anyway, like
Gets kind of too easily. Laning phases, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Item scaling, not the best. Talent tree's mediocre.
Jesus.
He gets the Roshan, though.
Is there anything else? Well, geez.
Team fight is whatever. Very single target based. Late game scaling is pretty mediocre, too. But that's why
anybody
you have a
wants
CK.
the transcript of that essay about why Ursa is garbage.
He's not garbage. He's just... it's like
Just
my
not
least
good
favorite
enough.
word in the world, but like he's situational.
Situational.
Which means that he's bad in most situations,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But he's good in this one, I think.
Meanwhile, EG running a pit lord. And they're also trying to go into the jungle, but against a wyvern. Pops the Arctic Burn. Looks like nobody's really interested in that. Shout out to Scriff, of course. We've got our Swedish observers back. Thank you very much to Scriff and Wepas, saving Lyrical and I from the T-Tours.
Dude, you guys did a job. So anyways, in mid, it's going to be that Ember versus Ursa matchup, which is pretty difficult, I think, for Ember. Melee versus melee. Ursa just kind of right-clicks him.
There is really no way for EG to change the lanes to give them an advantage versus the Ursa, right?
Yeah.
Like, the Lifestealer's not going to do well. Underlord's also not going to do well. Speaking of Underlord, he's actually kind of in a tough lane. Chaos Knight does do a lot of damage, but he's got Crit's Wisp, who's going to be sitting him on the side, and they're actually going to wrap around behind with Fear as well, trying to go on Ame, see if they can get that early kill while the roll-in comes in on the Ember Spear at the same time. EG managed to push back the Chaos Knight, and at the same time, Mr. S, Mr. Sumail, is going to be having to keep his distance against the Rabid Bear.
Yeah, just a really annoying matchup for the Ember, because, yeah, you have Flame Guard, but Ursa doesn't really care. He just right-clicks you during that distance anyways. And up at top, they were correct that it was going to be an offlane Enchantress. And Arteezy, yeah, he won't die or anything like that, but it is annoying. Like, the benefit of having this Life Stealer is that you can rage in the mid-game and just pop her, and he doesn't really care.
But in laning phase, you can't really do that too well, right?
Yeah, it's not really the same thing, although he is going on her early on.
Without rage.
He needs some support if you were able to do this. But they're, in fact, trying to help out Universe as much as they can.
Just imagine if FY had a chance to be able to pick up a hard cam creep as well. Because just the right clicks right now is winning the lane against Arteezy.
Yeah, is he just blocking it out?
Yeah, he's blocking it out every single time.
It's really smart. Because if you imagine that he gets the purple dude or anything like that.
Oh, he doesn't block it out this time. And it's a Hellbear Smasher, too, so that's not exactly ideal for our tour if FY does manage to grab that one.
No levels of enchant, though. I think he realizes when he went for him that time and he just popped the heal, he was like, oh, he's got no levels of enchant, I'm fine.
Bottom lane. Trying to go into Ame here. Doesn't throw out the charge while Ame was still underneath Firestorm, so they lose a little bit of damage as a result. Gonna have to back up. Winter Wyvern needs to run himself away because there are still 3 heroes here. Looks like he underestimated Evil Genius's numbers and does end up going down first blood to Universe.
Yeah, that's a pit lord that does quite a bit of base damage, even without that kill. So no stuns on their side, but they don't really need it.
Yeah, absolutely not. And our Chaos Knight is going to be feeling those higher levels of Atrophy Aura, too. That's going to be a significant decrease in damage for him.
Yeah, this is an annoying lane for a lot of people right now. Ame's not going to have an easy time at bottom, up at top. Kind of same story.
I really thought FY was going to get level 4 and go ahead and pick up the enchant, but still 2-0-2. Full on in the 1v1 lane.
Kind of weird situation. If you, at level 5 you grab it, then you can at least steal the catapult and just get really aggressive on this lane.
I like that idea.
Which is what most people do. Maybe this is like a 2-1-2 variation where he just wants to make it so he can't die. But both offlaners right now have been heavily prioritized. We see that reflected in the net worth as both carries are in a similar situation, like 5 gold off each other, and both offlaners also the same.
But maybe this time the offlaner is going to end up dying to get the roll in from Yao to be able to slow down Universe and the Splinter Blast. But here comes Crit to be able to get the heal, and they've got the charge on through. They're slowing down Yao, and he actually is going to drop first before he can kill Crit. And now they've got a bash on a QQQ, get a lot of damage on him with the Firestorm as well. No extra bash from from Fear. He's not that lucky. But again, Evil Geniuses managed to pick up the kill in bottom lane after it's LGD starting the fight.
And I really like that decision by Fear to not back up there and for the entire team to commit, because Universe was quite low in that engagement, but he trusts his team to come in. Crit was probably saying, fight, 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 I'm on my way. Makes that a very easy pickup for them, as this offlane has been thoroughly won. And in this lane right here, does he decide to grab it? Yes. He was just going 2-1-2, and in preparation of the next wave with the catapult, he's just going to grab that and probably start getting really aggressive on this Lifestealer's tower.
Do you play around this at all if you're LGD? Do you try and enable FY? Or can you just not because it's a Lifestealer? This time it's going to be EG going on the offlaner, FY with the extra levels and heal, and is going to run out of the rage for the Lifestealer. So it looks like the combination of heal and untouchable is going to be enough to protect FY. Almost gets the courier too.
Just an annoying lane for everyone involved. And you see they do make that attempt, but I think it's a bit different when you try to make the move on the Lifestealer with the heroes that they have.
Yeah.
Like at best they're annoying, but they can't kill them. And at
it's
bottom,
just impossible.
They know
Universe,
everyone's up at top.
They know that the 2 supports are top lane, so they're going to try and finish off Universe. Ame does it go ahead, pops Mango for the extra bolt. Not quite enough damage, it seems. They are going to be turned around on Universe. Is just going to turn and fight. Finally, the Splinter Blast comes in. And it looks like that was probably the reason Universe turned and fought. He knew if he ran away, he was just going to get that extra nuke damage to come in. So he just decides to get as much damage as he possibly can.
Yeah.
Before he goes down.
It was more like surprising because I thought there was a chance that he was going to get a kill.
Yeah.
Like he was almost certainly dead there. With that next creep wave coming in, plus the Reality Rift was back up on Ame. Still, a nice grab by LGD. It does cost them a lot. Like he had to pop the Mango, and he's largely out of mana. So I think if the Pit Lord just runs down here again, it's going to be hard to complete that a second time around. And that's just kind of what the offlane sometimes transitions into, where it just becomes really difficult.
So what do you do as a support? Because you can't go top, it's a Lifestealer. You can't really protect bottom anymore, as Ame's just going to be charged up again. Evil Geniuses this time are brought Samael. Didn't want to stand in lane against the Earth anymore, so instead he goes out in the world, finds himself a purpose, gets some kills for his team.
Really easy kill for him, as you're right. Not a whole lot for him to do here, and I think Sumail is kind of like an antsy player. He wants to make stuff happen on the map, or he'd like to dominate the mid lane, but that option for him to dominate the mid lane isn't quite there, as this is an Ursa who has his level 6, has 4 levels in the Fury swipes, and is more than willing to battle.
Do you think Samael's the kind of player, you said call him antsy, is he kind of a player who just always needs to be winning? And if he's not able to sit in lane and win that, then he's kind of got to go out and get some kills.
Yeah, I think he's just one of those players that wants to create space on the map or do something. Plus this mid lane is kind of a wash in that you're not going to be able to do much, but the hope is that at some point later on in the game, you can get more aggressive. And with the stolen catapult, he's just going to refresh it again. Doesn't have heal available though, and the TP is coming in.
Yeah, with Fear, they're bringing all 4 heroes. The triple Remnant Blast is still not enough to finish him off, but with 4 heroes surrounding FY, he was going to go down eventually. It's Arteezy who managed to pick up the kill, and that's very important. Arteezy needs that comeback gold for sure. And he almost has his level 6 as well. That'll make things a lot easier.
Did he straight up charge the catapult?
Yeah, man. Got to get that catapult out of here. Don't let it do any more siege damage.
That's a lot of gold. I think he was trying to save it so that he could refresh the enchant when he was back alive. But that tower's still really low. And meanwhile, in this mid lane, maybe hasn't been touched at all.
Yep, they rotated heroes out multiple times. Ember Spirit is left to go bottom and now top lane. Maybe. Unfortunately, he's just not a hero that can really take a tower very quickly, but he is doing some significant chip damage over time.
Yeah. Charge on mid.
They're really going to do anything here. They can't kill him, that's for sure. But maybe they can force him to pop in rage or something like that. He goes ahead, turns, fights up against Fear, missing the kick though.
And he's starting to get a little bit low, but I don't think this is going to lead to anything, as maybe still has that ultimate unforced. On top of that Fairy Fire, I think he's wholly unconcerned with everything. They probably go Shrine together next, and then he just walks into the lane, repeats the cycle, although the bounty rune going to get stolen.
Mass pings. Top lane, FY is looking to be able to finish off this tier 1 tower. Misses the Centaur Stomp though. And Arteezy does have a chance to infest and take that one. Bottom lane, they're going to go for the charge out here. Was tier 1 tower about to drop from FY. Ame is very dead. He's going to be run under here. The Remnant to be able to finish him off. So it looks like he did manage to get the tower from FY. So that's a big pickup. Back to bottom lane. Crit is going to end up dying here as maybe makes his first rotation of the game in order to pick up a whisk kill, but won't be able to get anything else as Universe is going to make sure everyone gets back to base safely. And Sumail actually may return to this bottom lane with his Remnant out.
Yeah, resets everything a little bit, but overall a wash as both the offlaners continue to thrive. But for LGD's favor, this Ursa still doing very well for himself. Of course, Ursa really reliant on snowballing. You want to grab that Blink Dagger, grab a few kills, set it for the Roshan. But I don't think EG is going to make that Roshan particularly easy. And so for them, they're going to have to get a little bit more map control before they go for an objective like that.
Two-man smoke up to top lane. They're hoping to be able to catch FY's Enchantress, but the truth is, Enchantress is actually mid. He's looking for the fast kill on Crit, just 3 shots in real easily, and now it's going to be EG having to make the rotation back over to mid. Still to look to kill FY, but in fact, they're going to get turned around on Azame is here. They still want to be able to kill him, but now a good save. The Cold Embrace is going to be able to completely stop Arteezy's timing with the Rage. Now that it's gone, the Untouchable is going to make FY survive through all of this. Ame goes ahead, pulls back Arteezy, thinking they could still have a chance to be able to pick up a kill here, but not actually able to. 4-5 LGD do have the lead here in the laning phase.
Yeah, meanwhile at bottom, that Ursa picks up a free kill on that Pit Lord with the reveal of the Blink Dagger. Very strong right now. And that was a huge kill for him because that Pit Lord is doing quite well for himself. Yeah, they're going to get very aggressive here. Yeah. He's got Invis Rune too. Walking towards mid, but EG should know that this is happening, and maybe he's running away, trying to make them think that he's still coming there, but might just farm Ancients or something.
He's sitting at 5,000 net worth with a Blink Dagger around that 9-minute mark. And looks like he still wants to be able to pick up a later bottle here. He's going to start making his way into the jungle. Of course, EG saw the invis, and it's kind of expected that maybe would make an aggressive move here. So they're kind of paired up just to make sure.
Yeah, this is a really aggressive move that he's making right now, but I think he's going to notice. Plus, the invis is running out. He really wants to grab
a Infest, Spirit Breaker can charge. It seems like a hard kill to get.
Yeah, he's being pinged out too. That ward just placed there by Fear. They're going to know that this is happening, and I think that he should be somewhat aware. If you notice that Arteezy's trying not to reveal the fact that they have a ward,
yeah,
that is quite important, because if he started running right now, maybe you would just say, oh, they've got vision here, and he's trying to trust his ability to just infest and run away.
And that's pretty easy for him. But yeah, mid is being taken by LGD, so they are getting the big tower advantage. Bottom lane, they're going to go on Universe here. The silence up. He does have a TP as well as his ultimate, but it looks like the pure damage from FY is just too much for him to handle. So the offlaner brings down the opposing offlaner, FY, the one to triumph here.
That is an insane amount of damage that he put out right there. Cuts through that Pit Lord with no issues. Unfortunately, had to use the enchant to slow down the pit, so he can't use it for the catapult himself.
But seems like LGD are just systematically taking objectives.
Yeah. Their Ursa was denied like 2 opportunities, but as a result, it was creating some space so that they could make that bottom play, and they took that mid tower. Plus Arteezy, I mean, he kind of had to risk that, because if you start running away, then you give up that ward location.
Yeah.
And LGD, you know, they play very well around these wards. Plus, if you lose that ward, that Roshan area becomes a lot more difficult to defend.
Right, and it's a fresh ward, so it's really important to be able to keep it up.
Yeah.
Like if it was a ward that dies in 1 minute, who cares, right?
And that's something that people should just, in general, consciously think about is, like, if I move, what kind of ward am I, what kind of vision am I giving up? What information am I giving up away, as well? But LGD, they're going to smoke up. Looks like they want to make an aggressive move, place a ward down at the same time, get some ward vision while trying to make something happen around this bottom area, the last tier 1. And I think Universe is aware, hiding in that corner.
Is this the tower that Evil Geniuses finally stops conceding and fights LGD?
I'm not sure. Arteezy, though, he's going to get
he's
caught
going to
on.
be silenced up right away. Maybe he's going to be able to get the slow down here, but finally the silence finishes off, and he is able to pop the rage. Has the extra movement speed to stay ahead of Maybe. Now, Universe is hoping to be able to draw the attention away from this tower, but he has to leave soon. Doesn't get pulled back quite by Ame. To the safety of the trees, Universe will survive, and he'll try and stall out this tower push just a little bit longer.
And that should have been a kill on the Lifestealer. If the kick flies out half a second sooner,
yeah,
they get that kill. Spirit Breaker charge coming through. Does he intend to
just
complete
for
this
vision?
though?
No, man. I think he was just trying to go for vision there, but ends up getting caught by Ame. And Yao pops the shrine, is still surviving through all of this one. And now the turnaround. Oh no, Samel's gonna be able to jump in right to the middle of everyone. Universe with the double kill there is able to cleave down another. They do manage to get the Spirit Breaker. No uphill miss there. FY prances himself away with the extra movement speed from drums as well as the phase boot. So Evil Geniuses do make sure they contest this bottom tower. They pretty much gave up both top lane and mid. But finally they say enough is enough. They've reached their mid-game point where they've got a Lifestealer with an armlet and an Ember Spirit who's got plenty of levels.
And very well done by EG, holding the line there as Fear lived for way too long. There was half a second where I thought he was just going to not die at all.
Yeah.
But if there was an uphill miss, he would have lived right there. And that would have been pretty absurd because they committed a lot just trying to kill him. And Arteezy, he really wants to secure this tower as he's going to click it down, but Universe is here, going to try to help him out. This might just get denied. Not sure how hard they want to commit for this as they are showing their CK up at top, so I think this is going to be go time.
Here comes the TP in from the CK. They're trying to finish off the tower to make sure there's no more teleports. Good Winter's curse being laid out on Samel is going to be able to buy FY a lot of time to get some heals out. Universe recognized this is not a good fight. They're trying to get out of here. Arteezy so low, they just need to be able to bring him down. He infests inside, they all get away. Evil Geniuses, a clean escape. Even if they don't claim the bounty of the tower, it saved them from disaster.
That would have been so bad for them if they lost their carry there, and they got the tower denied. Very well done by both teams, actually.
Yeah, that was just stellar moves.
As they make it out clean. Game resets a little bit. 1K lead right now for LGD, but no overall large change there as
the charge back here. Fear. Keeping an eye on people.
Yeah, they are smoked up right now. It looks like they wanted to try to take an engagement if LGD broke up, because there's no more tier 1 tower to TP2. And at the same time, the CK is very underfarmed. Only level 8 cap. He's got a bottle to his name. Not even close to that armlet, which is a very cheap item.
Yeah, this is the big difference between our Lifestealer and our Chaos Knight, right? Is that Lifestealer took a timeout from the game, farmed up his items, didn't give a damn about the towers dropping, while Ame was playing a lot more objective-based with his team, moving with them to take objectives and willing to fight, even if it cost him farm.
Yeah, and that's a little bit too self-sacrificial. At the same time, expecting all three of these cores to have a very good game, a little bit too greedy.
Yeah, after all, you said not everyone can, and we definitely had a good game so far on both Maybe and FY.
Yes.
So
your other two heroes are just going to have to pull a little bit more weight. And there's a bit more equal distribution on the side of EG in terms of farm. This Ursa, though, very far ahead. Almost has a Diffusal Blade already completed at just 16 minutes in. Not opting to go for the mask and go for that early Roshan. I think he realizes that EG will contest those. And nothing is free in games like this.
Ame. No, they just chase him away. I thought maybe they would try for the Chaos Bolt, see if Samel doesn't dodge it, but they just run at him, force him to use his defensive remnant back. Fear is smoked up and getting some aggressive vision down inside of the jungle. Does get popped now by Yao and looks to charge himself to safety. Not wanting to get caught by anybody. Ame hoped to be able to intercept Fear there. Just a little bit shy there on the distance.
Not able to find that angle. Really wanted to try to get that pull in the stun. Yeah. But even a Spirit Breaker kill at this point is going to be worth a lot to this CK, as there is quite an ancient stack. But who really farms that?
That is a good question.
I guess the Ursa is the best candidate.
I mean, do you ever pop Phantasm to farm? I don't think so.
I'm not sure I don't know if his illusions are strong enough
to do it, yeah. Especially since one of the camps is the Prowlers. Ugh.
Yeah. Those obliterate the illusions.
No.
It's okay, though. Farm something at some point. The Ursa can grab it pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal for him. And
it's just not going to be that fast clear that we normally like to see from like Sven's and stuff.
It's all right, though. Still good habit if you're walking by the ancient camp, stack it.
It does feel like LGD are prioritizing that growth and farm over, say, looking for kills right now with this Ursa as he's reaching this big peak. I mean, this is one of the biggest peaks when he first gets Blink Dagger. Now he's got Diffuser Blade.
Yeah, they took those early engagements. I think they don't want to throw this Ursa's lead. They want to continue to allow him to scale up a little bit.
Okay.
And his next big power spike is probably going to be around the time he grabs that BKB.
I mean, that's fair enough, because nobody really counters the Ursa in this game from Evil Geniuses, so he really can't just keep scaling up, and it's not like a hero is going to be able to outscale him with less net worth.
Do you think he goes Axe this game? Over going something like the BKB?
It's okay
as
for
bottom?
Spirit Breaker. I think that's the biggest thing. FY is going to be caught, though. Brought down with the power of Relocate, Raged Up Lifestealer. A lot of extra attack speed given to him. But that does mean Crit's going to get caught. He knows it, too. That's why he left the Lifestealer alone.
He abandons him. Says, this one's mine to tank. Somebody has to die for the cause. And we don't all get to choose.
That man is Crit. How do you think he's looked since being able to go back to playing the 4 position and having Fear take over the captain role?
Pretty good. We have not a lot of sample size to work with so far. Like half of a tournament. But it's not looking bad at all. And
no, I want to say I don't see the old Crit just yet. So
he's been focusing primarily on playing these like Wisp-based heroes.
Yeah.
But Crit for a while was like the trump card Wisp, right? For both OG and now EG. And this is going to be an important win or loss either way. If EG wins with the Crit Wisp, it gives them a drafting advantage because LGD will probably loathe to ban it. They'll just get rid of it. But if they win against it, it'll give them a lot of confidence. And here's the first step towards that win is they're going to go for the Roshan here. With the DD rune, I don't think EG have any way of knowing this is happening. It's quite quick. He blinked in there, so they had no vision. And they dewarded that top area with that sentry. So absolutely no issues in grabbing that.
Yeah, really great play, seeing, as you said, like, EG are going to make taking Roshan pretty tough. And LGD did not try and rush it. They're going to try and go for Arteezy here, but he does have Infest.
He's got Diffusal, though. I think he wants to chase this.
He's got the Relocate out, but no, they managed to grab Crit. And maybe is going to give up on that kill as it gets close to the tier 3 tower. So they still get a kill out of it, and they can still pressure this tier 2.
If you notice, by the way, Universe went for that Solar Crest first. Wants to try to grab the Guardian Greaves. Also has a cloak on him, which is a bit curious. There's not too much magic damage on the side of LGD. I guess the Earth Spirit ultimate is a little annoying, as well as everything that the Winter Wyvern puts out, which is like 1 spell.
Yeah, that is really curious. Like, normally when you see Value Cloak, it's a really Value Cloak game.
Yeah.
Not so much here, but the Solar Crest, tons of value, that's for sure.
Very good item against both the Ursa and the Chaos Knight, because neither of these heroes really like going for the Bloodthorn or going for the MKB.
Yeah.
Like, going for MKB on both these heroes is really annoying, because you're just grabbing it and it doesn't add any utility to your skill set. Like, it doesn't make CK any happier. Like, he'd prefer to get items like Heart.
So you'll probably get it eventually on maybe, but you're pretty much never going to get that item for Chaos Knight, either one of them, right?
Yeah. Still.
Fear with a charge in with an infested Lifestealer does get kicked up. He's trying to main out. They draw the silence, and it does catch Arteezy as he pops out too, so that immediately kills his rage. They just get a free support kill. Arteezy still ticked up by the Earth Spirit ultimate, managed to get the disarm onto Maybe, and there's the Ember Spirit going in, managed to kill the support. Almost got the Winter Wyvern too as he backs himself away. Maybe, knowing that he's out of remnants, hoped to be able to catch Sumail, is unable to do so though. Sumail runs to the east, and Maybe straight up to the north, catching that wave pushing in.
Did you say to the east?
I mean, you know, sometimes I get directions wrong, Will.
Come on, man. That's like one of the basic things.
Never eat soggy waffles, damn it.
You could have just said left.
I don't know, William. Play-by-play is not an exact science, dude.
All right, fair,
It's all free form.
Sometimes I gotta call you out on stuff like that.
And I'm not smart enough to be able to make it perfect. Maybe.
He's going to get charged up.
They're going to get a relocate in. This is not a kill they want to try for at all, are they? I mean, it's an Aegis, so LGD aren't going to be here for the second life, and I'm really worried about that for EG. They're going to try and get out, but they're going to get caught. 1 second stun only on RTZ, so he's going to be able to pop the rage and turn against Ame. Winter's Curse is going to be able to prevent that. They start doing some damage to RTZ, but he's still looking pretty healthy. It's Ame who's really in trouble. They managed to get the cold embrace on him. Now here comes FY, big damage dealer, but Ame is still in big trouble. The rest of the team's trying to help him out. He managed to run himself away. RTZ's looking to get that kill, but on the tunnels, keep him alive. So well. Maybe he's getting kited out of his mind right now. He has to run himself away as his ultimate is wearing out, and EG handedly take this fight. They just completely targeted the Chaos Knight, made him a non-factor, and kited around the Ursa the whole entire way, and they didn't feel FY's presence at all.
No, he was chucking spears around, but not really connecting on anything. Not enough damage to scare anyone on EG, and just a really clean fight overall as they take that 2-3. They only lose their 2 supports, but they grab that big Ursa core, which is so important for them. And it just looked like they didn't have enough lockdown for anybody.
Yeah, I have to say, I think Yao jumping in on the first life of Ursa felt really awkward, because then as he comes back, they have no spells to be able to throw down from the Earth Spirit, especially that follow-up disable when Ame hits RTZ there and only gets a 1 second stun, which is so bad for him. They don't even have a kick from the Earth Spirit to follow that up.
Yeah, you notice they have a hard time locking anybody down, EG. They fan in and out. And
Disables, man.
I mean, he almost survived there. He was working his ass off to try to live, but...
Yep. More aggressive vision.
Yeah, not the cleanest fight. And I think this is going to signal the Ursa that he needs probably like a basher. He is going for the MKB after the BKB.
Easy setup. Look at, they saw the 2 supports. Sumail's going to lead things off. Winter's Curse gets laid down, but here comes Fear charging in from the other side. Just bumping Yao, but it's enough time for RTZ to get here. He's going to slow down QQQ, hoping to be able to get that kill, but there is the invis out. Oh, the long-range shots, though, from the Impetus is able to finish off the Spirit Breaker. Has to be careful of RTZ. Does get halberded up. Maybe comes in. Goes straight for Sumail, forcing him to jump back to his remnants while Ame deals with RTZ. Got the 2 second stun. RTZ does not have an infest out of here, so he's going to have to somehow juke and get a TP away. Tries to go for it inside the trees. Good try, RTZ, but no chance against 3 heroes, all 3 cores of LGD.
And they got just a little bit too over-aggressive there. Weren't able to set up the fight like they were in that upper river area. They wanted to take a consecutive fight, but at the same time, LGD perfectly sandwiched them. This time around, the CK was able to get his ultimate off and just fan them out. RTZ wasn't sure which target he was supposed to go for in that engagement.
Yeah.
And now this Chaos Knight has some measure of farm.
Yeah,
he's got an Echo Saber and an Armlet. At the same time, they lost the backline really quickly. The Ursa just immediately jumps crit. Without crit available, the fight becomes a little bit more complicated for EG, and they've got to be a little bit more patient when it comes to getting their cores in, as fake charge, maybe thought about it for a second.
So is that the objective for maybe? If he can't get, say, like the Wisp, does he jump the Ember Spirit every single time and force him to use one of those defensive remnants?
I don't know. I feel like with heroes like Ursa, Storm, all these heroes that like immediately jump in, you want to try to burst somebody down as soon as possible, because you don't reset your attack speed very fast. Like, your attack speed is still really mediocre on this hero, even with the talent and everything.
I guess the advantage I see is that if he doesn't have a defensive remnant out and you Diffusal Blade him, his remnant is going to go out really slow if he tries to get away from the Ursa. And that could just completely kill any of the offensive elements of the Ember Spirit. If he has to jump out of the fight entirely at the beginning, or he has to throw like multiple slow remnants just to get some distance.
For the most part, though, I think Ursa wants to try to jump crit, burst him down as fast as possible.
That's definitely target number 1 for sure.
It always is against Wisp lineups, and that's why Wisp positioning is so important. You need to play behind your heroes, and they need to pretty much like blindly frontline and tank for you as much as they can. Otherwise, your game is really difficult.
And that's where a hero like Underlord really comes in handy, because he's not just a frontliner, but he's also a secondary source of mitigation, right? He's able to pop the Solar Crest on whoever's being gone on. He has the mech as well, so you don't feel rushed as Crit to immediately jump in as soon as there's initiation from LGD.
Yeah, and Ursa now has a BKB. We saw how annoying the change was. He wants to try to save his ulti for a bit later in that engagement. And the next Aegis Chi is going to be huge.
And that'll definitely be the opportunity for LGD to take over the game.
Yeah. And CK using his illusions, probably going to show the mid to shove out that lane. LGD making a very aggressive maneuver upwards, but they're not going to find anyone here. Maybe if they cut all the way down, but Crit's ready for this, as is the Underlord, who...
Maybe they'll run into Crit first. We'll see. He's going to go ahead and jump forward. QQQ is kind of baiting Universe. Now they've spotted Crit. Crit goes. They both going to go for the relocate out of this one. But they caught Sumail, and they've got him silenced. So maybe they can actually finish him off here, but the silence doesn't fade away. Ember Spirit not able to jump, though also going to be able to get Crit.
They use the relocate and the Pillord ulti.
Yeah.
You only want to try to use the Pillord ult, but Crit thought, danger time, we got to get out of here. And a little bit of miscommunication, and all of a sudden, despite that excellent top fight, that seems like ages ago, is now it's a 5k lead in favor of LGD. Roshan will spawn relatively soon. They're going to grab this tier 1, grab all the outer towers.
And if you can get this BKB on both the Ursa, who's already got it, as well as the Chaos Nate, like, say goodbye to your kiting mechanisms for EG.
You're going to get shut down pretty hard here, as the Ursa is now starting to scale out of his mind. That was a huge kill for them on that Ember Spirit.
17 to 14, 28 minutes in, a 6,000 gold lead. Evil Geniuses, they're supposed to hit their mid-game swing right now with a Life Stealer and Ember Spirit. They've got the mech up on the Underlord, but they just can't seem to win these engagements against LGD. But there is one of the most important engagements of all game. The next Roshan fight is coming up. It is going to be both Aegis and Cheese, so still plenty of opportunities for EG to swing this game into their favor.
Yeah, and LGD right now, they're trying to bait out this bottom area. If nobody from EG bites, then I think they know they're going to be in that Roshan area, and that's where QQQ is pinging right now. He's saying, guys, no one's there. And EG, it's difficult for them to go for the Roshan themselves. Like, hard committing for that, I think, is a rough idea.
Yeah.
And so that's where the danger lies, is they can't all sit there. And this is why this trap bottom is being set right now. Sumail gonna slide a fist in. Where's the kick? Where's the silence? Here we go.
Managed to get the silence first, plus the extra slowdown. Just needs to be able to follow up with a stun. They've got an easy kill for themselves. So a pickoff like that, immediately going to the Roshan pit. Love this fast decision-making from LGD.
And with no buyback on the Ember, and you notice FY all the way in front has a creep.
I mean, yeah,
Fear's now on that cliff. He's going to have to force himself to charge away.
With the Ember Spirit gone, they don't really have that burst damage against FY.
Yes.
He can go ahead and just challenge most of EG and keep them away from the pit.
Yeah, if you consider it like this, if EG had a lineup that could very quickly do Roshan, similar to LGD's, then they can just go in and threaten it themselves. But LGD doesn't fear that at all. They're like, we have flying vision as well. We can always just send in a creep from the Enchantress. So the vision game is heavily in their favor. Whereas for EG, they kind of have to be around that area. They were gathered around waiting for that opportunity. And LGD set that trap at bottom. They pushed in the wave, and they waited for a full minute. EG probably thought, he's farming Ancients near that Roshan pit. Like, we're just playing this standstill game. Let me just go shove out this lane real fast and reset the game a little bit. And if you're confused as to why CML had to do that, well, you can't just wait around that pit for 2 minutes with nothing happening.
Just let the tier 2 be hit by creeps and stuff. Like, you're not getting any farm at that point.
Yeah. And if you think that LGD is just farming during that time, you do try to get a little bit more ahead right there. Not a greedy play, just a really good read from LGD.
Yeah. And the truth was, LGD was actually farming. It was just the Chaos Knight on the Ancients, and it was pretty much solely Winter Wyvern who was pushing in mid. He was kind of the constant presence saying, hey, we've got people mid here. We're showing up around this Roshan pin. Look out. And that's one of the big advantages of Wyvern.
And those are the kind of risks that you sort of had to take, is you have to show yourself. Because if nobody shows themselves, then there's a lot of different assumptions that the enemy team can make, and they'll just take the safest option. But by showing some heroes, it kind of triggers this thing in EG's head where they'll say, okay, some heroes are showing, guys, they're clearly all there, because there's no way that they would make this kind of play otherwise. But it's sort of a fake out, because LGD, they're not afraid of getting gone on, because EG, they won't take that fight. They don't have vision up there. They're just kind of letting their presence be known more than anything. And now there's a BKB completed on this CK. Level 20 on Ursa, almost has that MKB at the same time. And an Orchid is fully completed on FY. So this is going to make Sumail's life a lot harder as they're all gathered around this bottom area. He's Orchided up.
Gotta be, the follow-up silence from Yao as well.
And another kill on this Ember Spirit, so important for them. This might even trigger them into going for the high ground.
Yeah, you might as well, right? At least force Evil Geniuses back. If not, maybe get that tier 3 with the Phantasm from
They
Ami.
need to
Let's
go
see if
on
he's going to
Pillor
pop it. They're going to go for Universe kill first, and they might be able to get him too. Crit is actually going to get kicked and silenced up. What a great play from Yao, stopping all of that action from EG. It's an easy push. RTZ's just going to try and take a tier 2 because he can do nothing else. They have to kiss this bottom lane of Rax goodbye.
And a buyback is forced onto Sumail, but without the Pit Lord available, his presence does not scare them whatsoever. He's got to play really far back. RTZ thinking
they
about
could just
investing,
go for 2.
but they're just going to go for 2. They've got the Aegis. They feel very comfortable about this push right now, and without a buyback on the Pit Lord, there's no wave clear. Aside from the Sleight of Fist, they're not worried about this at all. LGD pushing forward right now, trying to get a second set of racks. Silence onto Arteezy.
Oh, they're going to pull him back straight into Ame with a 3-second stun. A big hit. Crit is unable to save him once again. Universe is a bit too late with his mech as well. LGD are going to have to retreat now, though. And EG are going to try and push out, but stumble into the Winter's Curse, which is all just a setup for LGD to be able to get the stun silence on this Sumail. He's dead. Fear tries to charge through LGD, but it's just not going to find any success here. And it's cleanup time. LGD will take everything EG's got, as well as this game number 1.
Oh, wow. LGD played this game so well in the mid game. They baited out that Roshan. Their first Roshan was very good. Their second Roshan was even better, the way that they set that up. That kill attempt at bottom, the 2 times they picked off the Ember Spirit. Very well done from them.
It really did look like a masterclass showing of LGD and how to be able to put pressure on the map and be able to set up multiple traps for Evil Geniuses. Find those pickoffs that gave them easy objectives.
That was just so cool to watch from the perspective of, you know, being able to see everything develop. You kind of knew the direction that LGD wanted to go. They were very patient in this game. Maybe 10-1 and 6, done very well for himself. And EG, quick loss. It escalated so fast.
I mean, this is supposed to be a lineup where we said on the panel, Evil Geniuses is supposed to match up a little bit better against LGD, both kind of slower teams. EG has that kind of style, but it looks like in this game number 1, it's not even close. We're going to go to a break and come back with a panel, break down game number 1, and see if they can solve EG's issues for game 2.